This is the High School Football America podcast for February the 12th, 2020. I'm Jeff Fisher, and it is Rewind Wednesday at highschoolfootballamerica.com as we take you all the way back to the first ever High School Football America radio show way back in 2011. If you go to highschoolfootballamerica.com, you can listen to our very first radio show, the precursor to the podcast. We started it July 21st, 2011. It was a one-hour show that aired every week. It was a who's who of high school football. That's what we set out to do, and I think we achieved it pretty much over the course of time, and now the podcast gives you a daily update of what's going on in high school football. On that very first show of the High School Football America radio show, we went north to Alaska. We talked to Brad Igo and his assistant, Brian Houston. Igo, the head coach at Barrow, Alaska, the Whalers, the only high school football team playing high school football above the Arctic Circle, and we talked to them just before the kickoff of the 2011 season. The 49th state in Alaska has a deep, rich, but small high school football tradition. It grows every year, and Barrow, the only school above the Arctic Circle, also has the distinction of playing on blue turf that was given to them after that interview, by the way, by the Jacksonville Jaguars. Also on the show, we talk with my good friend to this day, Steve Spiewak. At that point, he was the senior writer for Max Preps, and he was doing the national rankings for them, the preseason top 25, the early contenders poll. Believe it or not, back in 2011, High School Football America did not have national rankings. They began in 2012, and then it was an opinion poll, the top 25. We then went to our algorithm, our proprietary algorithm that I created in 2013, and the rest is history. Now High School Football America has a High School Football America 100. We rank teams around the country, regionally and statewide, but it was fun to have Steve on the show. He appeared many times on the High School Football America radio show. Then we went to Alabama for the National Select 7-on-7 Championships in Hoover, Alabama. We talked with the then executive director, Brandon Shepard, about the event in Hoover, Alabama. And we also talked to a coach who was playing there at that time, and he took time out of his busy schedule, Scott Young from West Rowan High School in Mount Ulla, North Carolina. On the show, you'll get a kick out of the fact that I mispronounced it and called it Rowan, which Chris Hughes at CarolinaPreps.com always jabs me about. But that was our very first show, and you can hear the show in its entirety by going to highschoolfootballamerica.com for Rewind Wednesday. Now let's head to the state of Texas. News out of Duncanville. The last 2 years, the Panthers have been runners-up in the state's biggest classification, 6A Division I, and the UIL, the University Interscholastic League, is handing down a one-game suspension to the head coach of the Panthers. Reginald Samples has been suspended for the first game of the 2020 season, plus he's been issued a one-year probation and a public reprimand for a violation in regards to the employment of coaches. You can learn more by going to highschoolfootballamerica.com. The Panthers last year, they finished number 9 in the High School Football America 100. Lots of grumbling still going on in South Georgia, in Valdosta. Valdosta High School, the winningest high school football program in the nation, fired its coach. At the end of January, Alan Rodemaker was fired, and then basically what happened was the community got all up in arms about this. An attorney got involved, and last night, the Valdosta City School Board agreed to reconsider the firing. The firing, the first time around, came by a 5-4 vote, and last night, after having about 100 people show up in support of Rodemaker, and Rodemaker himself speaking on his behalf about the firing, the school board did not decide to change its decision in January, so Alan Rodemaker now is still the former coach at Valdosta. His attorney says they will take this to the courts. Rodemaker's had a successful run since being hired as the head coach before the 2016 season. In his first season, he led the Wildcats to their first state championship since 1998. That season, Valdosta finishing number 30 in the High School Football America national rankings. His four-year record, 36-17, including a 10-3 mark this year. The Wildcats Wildcats climbed as high as number 41 in the High School Football America 100. One of the things that's really been battered about on this controversy in Valdosta, and the various media outlets down there have been reporting on it, many saying there are racial overtones to his firing. The voting was 5-4, with 5 African-American board members voting to fire Rodemaker, while the 4 white members of the board voted on keeping Rodemaker. So we're going to have to watch and see how this story unfolds. And now we're looking ahead. We're rewinding on Wednesday, but we're also looking ahead to the 2020 high school football season, starting to get lots of schedules in from the big teams around the country and the small ones as well that we're listing at highschoolfootballamerica.com. For example, this week so far, we got Bishop Gorman out of Nevada's schedule, another good quality, 4 out-of-state opponents. The Gales have another quality non-league schedule. Today we put up the Allen Eagles. The Allen Eagles winning our national championship in 2012, 2013, and 2014. Their schedule's up. They're in a new district. You can learn about that at highschoolfootballamerica.com. And Corona Centennial, the Huskies out of Southern California, put up their schedule last night. The Huskies, one of the best teams in the nation since we started using our algorithm to rank teams. Before 2019, we did a little survey on who's been the best. Bosco was number 1, but the St. John Bosco, I should say, this year's national champs, they were number 1 going into 2019. The Huskies since 2013, prior to the 2019 schedule. I know that's a little confusing, but before they played the games, they were the 7th best program in America. You can learn all kinds of stuff that's going on in high school football from around the country. We've got our state-by-state board, so you can see if you're a fan in Nebraska, if you're a fan in Georgia. It doesn't matter where you are. We got you covered at highschoolfootballamerica.com. That'll do it for today's podcast. You've been listening to the High School Football America podcast, and I'm Jeff Fisher.